Are we ready? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Liquor Control Commission hearing for March 7th, 2022. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Commissioner Raffato? Here. Commissioner Kruger?
Present.
Commissioner Lang?
Here.
Commissioner Vito?
Here.
Commissioner Papantos?
Present.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here.
Chairperson Horker?
Here. You have before you the minutes of the special meeting of January 17th, 2022. Do we have a motion for their approval?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Raffato, second was that Papantos. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Raffato?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay. Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Vito?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker? Or
Yeah.
Chairperson Horker?
Potato. Yes. Citizen concerns and comments?
None tonight.
Excellent. That brings us to the meat of the matter. We have item A.
6A, consideration of a request for a Class A1V liquor license from the Lucky Strike Corporation doing business as District Brew Yards, Burnt City Brewing, a proposed restaurant at 700 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Svandilis.
Thank you. Before the commission this evening are ultimately two licenses, as the title of this one indicates. First is a Class A1V, which is a restaurant, beer, and wine with video gaming license. The second and the next item on the agenda is a supplemental package liquor license. They are both for the same petitioner, which is District Brew Yards, who will be taking over the vacant Ram Brewery space. Dealing with the first item, 6A, there are a couple of conditions that I would ask that any motion be made contingent upon, and those are, number one, passage of an ordinance by the Board of Trustees authorizing the creation of a new Class A1V liquor license. Number two, payment of all associated fees. Number three, satisfactory background check results. And finally, the submission of Bassett certificates for all applicable individuals. Again, this is 6A, which is the Class A1V license. And the petitioner is here. We can answer any questions you may have.
Commissioner Papantos, you had a question?
My question is on 6B, so I'll wait until we get to that,
Okie doke.
please.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I would be looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vogel makes the motion. Commissioner Papantos gets the second. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Commissioner Raffato?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Vito?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes. Item B.
6B, consideration of a request for a supplemental Class D-4 liquor license for the Lucky Strike Corporation doing business as District Brew Yards, Burnt City Brewing, a proposed restaurant at 700 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Svandilis.
Thank you. I would only add that there are, well, actually, it's the same conditions from the previous item. And before we finish with this item, I will read the Class D4 license into record, just because this one is, there's a lot of nuance to it, so I want to make sure that that's in the record. But other than that, I would ask for a motion to be conditionally made upon, one, the issuance of a primary liquor license to the applicant, two, payment of all associated fees, and three, the passage of an ordinance by the Board of Trustees authorizing the creation of a new Class D4 license.
Commissioner Papantos.
Thank you. On the package sales, or is this more of a carryout? It's just what type of container would it be in?
So we will be packaging everything we make, beer only, in cans, 16-ounce cans. So they'll be sold as 4-packs in a cooler to go. And that's the only thing. We're not selling distilled spirits or anything else other than the beer that we make there.
And so the customer, if I came into your brewery right now, when you were open, I'd fill my own beer, but I would not be filling.
You would not. It's not a growler. It's not a crowler. So these are prepackaged cans that we make. We'll have a canning line there. So we will package beer in a variety of different flavors for people to take out, 4-packs to go. When you come in, you can taste all the different beers that we have, and presumably you will taste one, like one, and want to take it home.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Papantos. If there are any other questions or comments, Mr. Spondilis, you wanted to read that motion, the recommended motion?
Yes, and my apologies, this is a bit of alphabet soup, so. Class D4 licenses shall authorize the incidental retail sale of alcoholic liquor by the package for consumption off the premises, subject to the following. Conditions and qualifications. A Class D4 license shall be issued only as a supplemental license to the holder of a Class A, AV, A1, A1V, B, BV, B1, B1V, C, or CV liquor license to authorize the incidental sale of packaged liquor by establishments that principally sell food or alcoholic liquor for consumption on the premises. The holder of a Class D license shall remain subject to all conditions, qualifications, and limitations of the primary liquor license class. The holder of a Class D4 license shall only sell, offer for sale, or give away alcoholic liquor in any form during the hours of operation specified for the license holder's primary license in Section 4.32.200 of the Village Code. In the event that the primary liquor license held by a Class D4 license holder is revoked, suspended, or declared forfeited or lapsed by the Liquor Control Commission, the Class D4 license shall also be revoked, suspended, or declared forfeited or lapsed. The area of a Class D4 licensed premises dedicated to the display or sale of packaged liquor shall not be accessible to the public via any entrance separate from the entrance or entrances to the area of the premise where liquor is sold and served for consumption on the premises. A Class D4 license shall not be issued to an establishment that conducts sales of packaged liquor under a different business name other than the name under which it conducts sales of alcoholic liquor for consumption on the premises. A Class D4 licensed premises shall use no more than 5% of its total floor area for the display of packaged liquor. A Class D4 license shall not be issued in lieu of a more appropriate license contained within this section. Please note that in addition to the conditions and qualifications specific to this license class, all Wheeling liquor license holders must comply with all provisions of the Wheeling Municipal Code and are responsible for being familiar with those provisions. Thank you.
Need a motion for that.
So moved with the conditions as stated.
I will give that to Commissioner Kruger. Who was the second?
Second.
Commissioner Ravato. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Commissioner Raffato,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Vito,
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes, are you going to read that every time we have to? Congratulations.
Only
Thank you very
for
much.
some of them.
Good luck. When will you be opening?
We are working on it now. We're in for permit. We hope to be, we're trying to get open in the middle of June, but likely July because of supply chain issues with tanks, which we ordered back in October, but we don't know when they're going to get here. But apparently they're getting on a boat now.
Awesome.
So hopefully they're not stuck in Long Beach.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you very much. Much
Good luck.
appreciated.
Thank you.
That concludes the Liquor Commission business for the evening. I need a motion to adjourn to regular session.
So
So-
moved.
Motion trustee Raffato, second trustee Commissioner Papantos. Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Liquor Commission adjourned. I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting for the Village of Wheeling for March 7th, 2022. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Trustee Raffato,
Here.
Trustee Kruger,
Present.
Trustee Lang.
Here.
Trustee Vito.
Here.
Trustee Papantos.
Present.
Trustee Vogel.
Here.
President Horker.
I am here. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of February 7th, 2022. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Trustee Papantos, second.
Second.
Trustee Lang, roll call, please.
Trustee Raffato,
Yes.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
Trustee Lang,
Yes.
Trustee Vito,
Yes.
Trustee Papantos.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes. Changes to the agenda, Mr. Spondilis.
There are two I would like to ask for a motion to remove items 13F and 13G from the agenda.
So moved.
Trustee Raffato, second. Trustee Kruger, roll call.
Trustee Raffato,
Yes.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
Trustee Lang,
Yes.
Trustee Vito,
Yes.
Trustee Papantos.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes. Proclamations.
Social Work Month, March 2022. Whereas for decades, the social work profession has been dedicated to improving human well-being and enhancing the basic needs of all people, especially the most vulnerable among us, particularly during the global pandemic. Whereas this year's Social Work Month theme, "The Time is Right for Social Work," embodies how social workers rose to meet the most pressing challenges. Whereas social workers are the largest group of mental health care providers in the United States and work daily to help people, whether in person or remotely, overcoming substance use disorders or mental illness such as depression and anxiety. Whereas social workers have always helped people overcome issues such as death and grief and help people and communities recover from increasing natural disasters such as fires, hurricanes, and earthquakes. Whereas social workers have helped the nation live up to its values by successfully advocating for equal rights for all, including Black, Indigenous people of color, those who are LGBTQA, religious groups, and others. Whereas the social work profession is one of the fastest growing careers in the United States, with more than 715,000 social workers today and nearly 800,000 professionals expected to be employed as social workers by 2028. Whereas the Village of Wheeling has employed social workers through the Wheeling Police Department and later through the Wheeling Human Service since 1991 to provide quality crisis intervention, court advocacy, and information and referral services to Wheeling residents. Whereas social workers possesses the necessary expertise to assist our nation and our community with some of its most demanding concerns, including their health and well-being, not only during the pandemic, but at all times, ensuring equal rights, improved health care, and mental health care for all. Whereas social workers work in the facets of the society to meet people no matter their circumstances and empower them to live to their fullest potential. Therefore, in recognition of the numerous contributions made by American social workers, Patrick Horker, President of the Village of Wheeling, does hereby proclaim the month of March 2022 as National Social Work Month in the Village of Wheeling and call upon citizens to join the Nation Association of Social Workers and the Village of Wheeling celebrating and support of the social worker profession.
Thank you, Clerk Brady. It's also important to note that this is, March is also National Athletic Training Month, and we do recognize them for their services to the athletic field and the physical therapy field. A full copy of that proclamation can be found in tonight's agenda, and it can also be found online. So, thank you. Clerk Brady, citizens' concerns and comments?
Not tonight.
Brings us to the consent agenda. No, I'm sorry, staff reports. Mr. Kaup. Wolf Road is up and running, sort of.
Wolf Road is up and running. Yeah. President Horker, members of the board, I wanted to bring you up to speed with the new construction season that is now upon us. Acura, the IDOT contractor for the Wolf Road project, has started construction activities already for the season. Currently, East Manchester Drive is closed at Wolf for storm sewer and grading work, and it's expected that this road will remain closed until Monday, next Monday, March the 14th. Access to Wolf will still be available through Crescent Drive during this closure, and staff has updated the village website accordingly. We've also placed electronic signage above and beyond what the state has done. They did not put any local signage, so we did so. After East Manchester reopens on March 14th, the contractor will be closing Crescent at Wolf to perform similar stormwater improvements at that intersection. The village will again update the electronic signage prior to the shutdown. On March 21st, Acura will open Crescent and close Highland, and this closure is going to coincide for the 1 week that Holmes Middle School has their spring break period. Excuse me. Staff had asked them to do that, and they changed their schedule to accommodate that. On March 21st, north of Dundee, East Strong is going to be closed for between 6 and 8 weeks. The mainline concrete paving will begin on April 1st on the other side of the road, so similar to what they did last year. They'll be doing on the east side of the road. This is all going to be done north of Dundee in April. Strong will then reopen sometime in May. The mainline paving south of Dundee will begin at that time in May. Later in the season, so that's the primary work that's going to be completed between now and the beginning of June, middle of June. And then after that, they're going to be working on east side driveways and sidewalks through July. And the project is set to go through October. So it'll be a full 2-year project. And hopefully they'll be wrapping up by this fall. I'm happy to answer any questions to the best of my ability, if anybody has any. Trustee
Will
Levantos?
Wolf Road be going back to a one-way road like it did last summer?
It will. I don't have the details of what the traffic pattern is going to be, but yes, it's going to be similar to what we had last year. We'll be doing the same thing on the other side.
Thank you.
Just a reminder for everybody, the construction equipment, that'll probably be back on the bulk piles over on Milwaukee Avenue. That's where IDOT is staging
Yes.
materials and equipment so that it's not parked alongside the road. There's nothing being built there, I'm just trying to say.
There's nothing being built there, and they are going to start grinding activities next week, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's begun again. And yes, they will be tearing up people's driveways to put in storm sewer and sanitary sewer?
Yeah, they'll right now, they'll be tearing up the driveways and putting back the millings no one will be out of access, but yes, they will be.
Great. Any other questions? Trustee Papantos?
One more. Did we solve the problem of the kids trying to get to Holmes walking?
We did, actually, with the assistance of the police department. We're going to be adding a second crossing guard. In fact, we're meeting on that tomorrow morning.
Now we just have to get the kids to use that.
Yes.
Back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Trustee Rufato, you had something?
Just a quick, Dan, when is the expected completion date of all of this?
Well, substantial completion will be supposed to be in October, but then we always have the punch list items and restoration. But construction should be complete this year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaup. Consent agenda, Clerk Brady.
Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the board member or citizen so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items. 11A, ordinance approving the transfer of volume cap in connection with private activity bond issues and related matters. 11B, resolution waiving competitive bidding and accepting the Northwest Municipal Conference Suburban Purchasing Cooperative previously bid contract with Peerless Network related to the professional telecommunications service at cost not to exceed $140,000 during fiscal year 2022. 11C, resolution accepting and approving a publicly bid contract with Stenstorm Petroleum Service Group for underground storage tank replacement at North Station in the amount of $152,280 for fiscal year 2022. 11D, resolution accepting and approving a publicly bid for contract with Langos Corp. In the amount of $119,500 for the demolition of the building at 561 West Dundee Road, formerly Collins Fireplace. 11E, resolution approving a professional service agreement with Christopher B. Berkey Engineering Ltd. for storm sewer design services in the amount not to exceed $26,600 for fiscal year 2022. 11F, resolution approving a contract with the RJN Group for sanitary sewer evaluation services, SSES, in the amount not to exceed $40,000 for fiscal year 2022. 13G, ordinance amending Chapter 4.32 of the Village of Wheeling's Municipal Code, alcoholic liquor dealers, specifically Section 4.32.085, to increase the authorized number of Class D-4 liquor license.
Any questions or comments? If there are none, I would need a motion to approve as read.
So move.
Trustee Lang, second trustee Rufato. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. 13.
13A, public hearing regarding request for the Cook County Class 7C real estate tax assessment for MOR-SEL Corp. LLC, 250 Alice Street.
All right, I'm supposed to read this verbatim. So, this is a public hearing for the public to make comments regarding the request for a Class 7C real estate tax assessment for 250 Alice Street. A public hearing notice was published in the Daily Herald. Each member of the public shall have 5 minutes to make their comments. During this time, staff and board will not answer questions. Comments should not be repetitive or argumentative. Are there any comments or questions from the public? I feel like there should be music playing. As there are no questions or comments from the public relative to the item, I now need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Trustee Vogel, second.
Second.
Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Brings us to item B.
13B, ordinance amending Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code in order to modify zoning regulations to establish a motor vehicle custom shop land use, docket number 2022-04.
Mr. Clicker, what do we have?
Yes, as was read by Clerk Brady, Custom Crowns and Coatings is seeking a text amendment to establish a motor vehicle custom shop as a new land use within the village's industrial districts. This was heard at the February 23rd Plan Commission, and this text amendment would establish a definition for motor vehicle custom shop, establish a minimum parking requirement for a motor vehicle custom shop, and establish a motor vehicle custom shop as a permitted use within the I-1, I-2, and I-3 zoning districts. This was, as I said, at the Plan Commission on February 23rd, and it was unanimously recommended for approval.
Questions or comments? Trustee Papantos is the petitioner here. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, sir. Members of the board, my name is Hal Frank. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Meltzer, Pertil, and Stell. I'm also here with my client, Mr. Paul Moreno from Custom Moldings and Crown Customs and Moldings. We are pleased to have received the unanimous recommendation of approval from the Plan Commission. We're here to answer any questions. The reason we're asking for these amendments to your zoning code is because our client has a use that's not contemplated by the code. It's actually less intense than some of the uses that are permitted in the I-2 limited industrial district. Our client's business is an existing thriving business that's relocating, would like to relocate from Elk Grove Village. It's a growing business, and so we're just hopeful that the village looks forward to welcoming the client, the use into the village.
I have one question on the Will the customers stay and wait for the work to be done? And if so, is there enough parking with the retail end of the business going on at the same
I'm
time?
going to let Paul Moreno answer that.
I thought so. Sorry.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
I'm sorry, the question again?
Will the customers wait for the work to be done? And if so, with the retail end of the business, will there be enough parking?
Enough parking, so for the most part, no, they will not be waiting. We typically keep a car for, say, 2 to 3 days at most. So it's more of a drop-off and pick-up once ready. There will be an occasional waiting, or customer waiting here and there for our retail front end, which is mainly coming in and purchasing either wheels or tires, et cetera, and they'll be on their way. Parking is, we have much more parking than we need at the moment.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Any other questions? Trustee Lang?
Just a quick comment. Great opportunity for sales tax.
Yes.
For us as well, and great business that I utilized services like this before, and it makes a difference. A lot of people are interested in improvements to their vehicles and such, and
Absolutely.
so I think you'll do very well.
Thank you.
Forward
Thank you
to
very
it.
much.
If there are no other questions or comments, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Trustee
Second.
Rufato, second. Trustee Papantos, was that? Roll call, please.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Welcome
Thank
to
you
the
all.
village. C, Clerk Brady.
13C, resolution consenting to a Cook County Class 7C real estate tax assessment classification for the property located at 250 Alice Street in the village of Wheeling, Cook County, Illinois.
Mr. Ainsworth.
Thank you, President Horker. The same petitioner that was just standing at the podium is the petitioner for this Class 7C. As a friendly reminder, this is a 5-year property tax reduction versus a 7A, 7B, or Class 6B, which is a 12-year reduction. The building has been vacant for some time, and there are significant improvements that need to be made, including a new parking lot, new roof, some HVAC upgrades. They're going to build out a 1,000-square-foot showroom and sales floor area, and staff had worked with this applicant extensively to make sure that that the investments made in this property are done with the 1 to 2 year time frame. So staff does recommend approval of this. I'm happy to answer any questions here, and again, the applicant is here if there's any questions for them.
Questions or comments? A lot of shaking their heads of no. That being the case, I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Vogel, second.
Second.
Trustee Lang, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes.
13D, ordinance granting a variation for Title 19 zoning and Title 17 planning subdivisions and developments to reduce the required minimal lot size at 1005 South Wolf Road, Lot 6, Atlantic Aviation, docket number 2021-54A.
Mr. Clicker, what's up? Could I request that we also read in E and H at the same time here, just to,
I can do that.
we could, please.
13E, ordinance granting a variation from Title 19 zoning and Title 17 planning subdivision developments to reduce the required minimal lot size at 1011 South Wolf Road, Lot 7, Atlantic Aviation, docket number 2021-54B. And 13H, ordinance granting major site plans and building appearance approval for the Fuel Farm 951 South Wolf Road, Atlantic Aviation, docket number 2021-53.
Mr. Clicker.
Yes, what you have before you tonight is the completion of the Atlantic Aviation projects that are going along along Wolf Road on the airport properties. They are creating new lots to accommodate their existing and newly constructed terminals, or I'm sorry, hangar buildings. Those lots that are being created a couple of them do require some variation in sizes. Then the final aspect of this is the new fuel farm, which they will be constructing so that they can better service the jets that utilize their hangars. That's the extent of it. This is in some respects a cleanup matter with the lot sizes, but it's also a new development with the fuel farm.
Thank you, Mr. Clicker. Trustee Lang, you have some questions?
I do. Mr. Clicker,
Yes,
the canopy for the fuel farm, is that a request from the petitioner or from, is it in our ordinance?
It's a request from the petitioner, but it meets all standards.
Yeah. And the reason I'm asking is dealing with Prospect Heights as being part of owner as well, the airport, you have a world of difference with our codes and their codes. And if you look on the adjacent corner of the airport, there's a fuel field there, and there's no shielding of it. There's no coverings. There's nothing on it. So it's disappointing in a way that it's like that. But I'm glad to see that at least our end of it looks.
Yes, part of it is our requirements, but also we do have to give credit to Atlantic Aviation. They are a quality operator at on the airport. And
I would second that.
If there are no other questions or comments, I would like to take these one at a time. Looking for a motion to approve D, variation from Title 19 for the planning subdivisions development to reduce the required minimum lot size to at 1005 South Wolf Road. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Lang, second. Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, now I need a motion for E, variation from Title 17.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Vogel, second goes to Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, finally, item H, granting major site plan and building appearance approval.
So moved.
Trustee Krueger, second. Trustee Lang. Clerk Brady, roll call.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Brings us to I, Clerk Brady.
Resolution approving the preliminary plat of DiCosola Estates Subdivision, current address 747 South Elmhurst Road, docket number 2021-08.
Mr. Clicker.
Yes, Mike DiCosola, property owner, seeks approval of a preliminary plat of subdivision to subdivide the existing single-family parcel located at 747 South Elmhurst Road into 5 residential lots along Gregor Lane. At the February 23rd Plan Commission meeting, the commission unanimously recommended approval of the preliminary plat.
Questions or comments from, did it go quicker than you expected? It's okay?
Couldn't be better.
Awesome.
Hello. Thank you for your help.
Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Mike DiCosola Estates, Alpha Omega Asset Investments. Thank you for your help.
Hi. If we have no questions or comments, need a motion for approval.
But just so you didn't waste your time, when will you start developing?
We're hoping by the end of this year we'll be hitting our first break.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
What size are these houses going to be?
Anywhere between 2,500 and 3,500 square feet. They're custom homes.
Nice.
All good? Make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Trustee Vogel, second Trustee Papantos. Nice visiting. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Good luck.
13J.
Drastically different.
13J, ordinance amending Title 19 zoning, Appendix A, using table of the Wheeling Municipal Code in order to modify zoning regulations to permit assembly use in the I-3 General Industrial Zoning District.
Mr.
Docket number 2022-02.
Mr. Clicker.
Yes, Yanni Design Studios is seeking a text amendment to permit an assembly hall as an accessory use, as a special use within the I-3 zoning district. The Plan Commission has not recommended approval for this request. It was a 3-4 vote, with the 4 being in the negative. So this is coming before the board with without a positive recommendation, and staff does concur with that recommendation.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to present our case today. My name is Marina Eliash. I'm the owner of Yanni Design Studio. It's a woman-owned and operated business. Among our diverse staff, that about 70% are women. Together with our creative director, Yanni Eliash, has built a huge reputation among event production industry, one of the best in the countries. Here's our story. Yanni and I escaped the communist Soviet Union in 1989. We were both born in Ukraine, in a city 90 miles west of Kiev called Zhytomyr. In 1990, we arrived as political refugees to the United States, in the greatest country in the world. We received an incredible opportunities to study, to work, and to build our family. Yanni Design Studio, our company, has been in the village of Willing for the last 15 years. We came to Willing because we knew this is an incredible place to be for the business. We got very lucky. In March of 2020, we acquired an incredible building for our business, and we expanded our operation. Little did we know that a week later, we're going to be shut down for 2 years due to world pandemic of COVID infection. We had to pull all our finances, all our retirement plans, and so on, to stay open and to protect our staff, and yet build an incredible state-of-the-art showroom for our clients after pandemic. This showroom became a true inspiration for our clients, and this is where the idea of the venue came along, because our intuitive clients saw this as an opportunity to run for their special events on the weekends and holidays. The possibility of venue in Willing is giving a benefit to the village by increasing a tax revenue, by giving opportunities to the resident of Willing to have new jobs, to create a new business ventures with partners in Willing. In front of you is a letter of support from GM of Westin Hotel that in details describes how it's important for Willing to have our venue. Also, other businesses such as food providers, beverage providers, transportation, caterers, and security services. We clearly understand the importance of your support. Today, we are asking your permission for assembly hall in our home, in our showroom for diverse communities during weekends and holidays, especially for our Ukrainian community that needs a place to get together and support each other in this difficult time. Our hearts are broken, and most of our staff, warehouse staff, are Ukrainians. Yanni Design Studio always been a big voice and a support of this community. We strongly believe that you, the trustees, together with the village of Willing, will open the doors to so many people. We at Yanni Design always promote celebrations, and we always brought joys to families and to communities. Our children and grandchildren want to have happy events. So I plead today for you to have your imagination and open mind to allow a tax amendment for industrial zone, we also are going to guarantee a safe environment for our clients because we are exceptional customer service experience. We are going to use special professional services to create this kind of environment for clients by using special professional transportation, such as Westin Hotel charter bus, Uber, also limousine companies that we've been affiliated for so many years, also beverage providers, liquor providers, security services, valet services, and so on. I would be more than glad to answer any of your questions at this time, please.
Trustee Vogel has a question, and then Trustee Lang.
Just a clarification. It's mentioned several times you're only going to do this on weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
That's correct.
Okay. What, looking ahead, if the demand is there?
Demand is tremendous. We've been in business for over 25 years. As you see from a letter of GM of Westin, he's been that's what he says, he's been lucky enough to work with us for 25 years.
What I'm saying is if the demand is there, are you going to look to try and do this during the week? Monday through Thursday?
The events are not happening during the week. These are mostly celebration for social events. Corporate business, unfortunately, is not back.
Okay.
And Trustee Vogel, if I could just also add, this text amendment is for a special use, and those kind of use would be restricted as conditions.
Well, I just don't want her to back herself into a corner.
Correct.
I mean, I'd love to see it grow where you needed to do Monday through Thursday. But if we put as part of the special use, if we put that as a condition,
right,
you're stuck.
I'm good with that.
You realize that? Okay.
I realize that Monday through Friday, it is a showroom for our clients at Yanni Design Studio. As you could see, I specifically made this for you guys. These are pictures, how it is and what it looks like every single day. So this is a showroom with our props, with our manufacturer, with what we do. So our clients at Yanni Design Studio do round this daily.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Vogel. Trustee Lang, you had something, and then Trustee Rufato.
Yeah, I have a few questions for Mr. Clicker. Sure. So 10,000 square feet, is that enough space for 200 people?
I believe the petitioner has said that would be approximately 180, and we concur with that assessment.
And then, so how about parking? I guess with the
parking standard for an assembly use is one parking spot per 3 guests. So with that, we do believe that if this text amendment were approved, as we review the special use, that there would be adequate parking.
Okay, and then lastly for you, do you see this as this location as any unfair advantage to any other banquet facility?
Unfair advantage? Actually, kind of the opposite. To me, this location being back in the industrial park is actually, no offense to Yanni and his awesome work that he does, but I think it actually does a disservice because it's not in an area of the town where we expect guests to our community to go to.
May I please have a comment? I will ask my son, who is a younger generation, explain to, I apologize, us, a little more mature people, what's going on in the mind of younger people.
Hi, how are you? My name is Michael. I'm a business owner here at Wheeling. We own Living Royal Incorporated over at 333 Hints Road. We manufacture socks there. I'm proudly making 1 million pairs and writing made in Wheeling every single day on my socks. I want to put Wheeling on the map, and most importantly, we want to do it with this venue. I grew up in the event industry. I've been to thousands of events. I've traveled to almost every single venue on grand scale. I've noticed one very common thing no matter where our family business travels to do events. People take out their cameras and they start taking pictures. I don't care if you're a waiter or if you're a photographer or you're anyone coming to this event. If you're in the space, you're taking a picture of our work because we're making magic happen. I don't know if anyone realizes, but at an average event, anywhere from 100 to 200 social media posts are being done. What is happening is that every single person like me going to an event is taking a picture on their iPhone, posting it on their social media. 500 people are seeing every single average post of each person. 200 pictures of every single event going up. That's almost 10,000 people seeing and targeted in Wheeling. And they're seeing a beautiful event, that they've never been able to see. When the magazines come out and people talk about these luxurious events, I want our community to be at the forefront of it. I don't want to keep seeing a Chicago venue. I think that we can make it all happen here in our hometown of Wheeling. And I want an opportunity for our family to show that we can bring a cool event space here and people would come. Thank you. And the last thing that I just want to mention, 5 years ago, I was looking for an event space myself. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I went to a lot of different warehouses downtown. The new hot thing is 22-foot ceilings, having industrial brick look, and having a loft space look. Chicago has a lot of these spaces, but unfortunately, we don't have any of these new manufactured spaces in our town. You have to renovate an existing space, like my father has already done, to get that kind of a look and vibe of an old refurnished space. And that's kind of what we're noticing as a huge trend, and even myself, I wasn't able to find a venue like that for my wedding. So I hope in the future people can get married in a beautiful place like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lang, were you?
No, I wasn't finished. So we have opened up the I-1 and I-2 to recreation, and there really hasn't seemed to be a lot of issues with that. So I think I'm willing to explore this option.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you, Trustee Lang. Trustee Rufato and then Trustee Kruger.
Thank you. Just the young man here, the young gentleman, it was actually talked about what I was going to say. We have these opportunities in Chicago. I've been to weddings in warehouse areas, and this use is I think, I would like to, I'd be willing to take a chance on it also. I just, it's, this industrial, what is a definition of industrial in today's world? It's not, there's no heavy manufacturing anywhere. It's been all offshored, and we have these buildings, and if we have an opportunity to make use of this, I don't see why not. And right now, we're only approving a text amendment, as Mr. Clicker said, it's got to come before us as a special use, and we can't put any type of guidelines around that when it comes before us. I believe it's going before, if this passes, it's going back before the Plan Commission on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Right, yeah. And as Mr. Clicker said, granted there was no approval by the Plan Commission, but it wasn't unanimous. It was 4-3. So there were a lot of, I think Commissioner Yednick made some very salient points about this use in this area that I agree with. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rufato. Trustee Kruger.
Thank you, Mr. President. My questions are for Director Clicker. My first question is, are there other I-zone businesses that you foresee them taking advantage of this text amendment as well?
With the stipulations that were put into this text amendment, that it be accessory to the principal use and that it be in a building of 55,000 square foot or larger, the only business that we can even contemplate in town that would logically or could logically apply for this would be Shure Microphone, because that would be an assembly space, would be, accessory to their principal use, which is microphone manufacturing. They could have an assembly place where you could test microphones and invite bands in to do such. That's the only other business that we currently have in town that we could contemplate that this would be applicable.
I've actually, not in the state of Illinois, but my son's a performer, and they actually performed in when we were driving to the venue. I'm like, where are we? What are we driving into here? But it was virtually a beer manufacturing house. They had a venue there. I guess Chief McGreal and or Deputy Chief Steffen, does police and fire see any issues with, weekend activity in an industrial area where you typically don't serve the community, on the weekends for stuff? I mean, somebody could choke on a hors d'oeuvre and you got to go help them. And
We don't see any issues with it. We can find it. And we also, I checked today that the occupancy has fire
suppression?
It has sprinklers, pull stations, and it has adequate exit.
And then Director Clicker, do you happen to know offhand what FedEx's routing and trucking activity is on the weekends?
I do know that FedEx is now, as any logistics company, is now a 24/7 operation. I don't know. I don't believe that their activity is as heavy on the weekends, but it is still active.
The street is very, very silent. As a matter of fact, I've been monitoring for the last 6 months, so I do have a record of that.
I take my VW to Wheeling for repairs, so I'm very familiar with the area. I mean, and of all the industrial areas, it's a relatively nice-looking space. I just don't. I'm trapped in a world that says there's a reason for code and there's a reason for zoning rules, and there's and I'm trying to open my mind up. But let me see what my other colleagues have to say.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Trustee Papantos?
Thank you. Like Trustee Kruger, I do have a problem with our comprehensive plan does not really call for something like this. And I guess my obvious question is, why not open a venue in an area that it's already zoned for?
I have an answer to that. I know your comprehensive plan has been written a while ago, and as we just talk about it, industrial area is changing. It becomes less heavy industrial, and a lot of other places do look into turning industrial spaces into something else. Unfortunately, the COVID has financially impaired us to the point where I have to survive at this moment. I have to continue supporting my staff, and the opportunity of venue is gonna increase jobs opportunities for my staff and increase bringing more revenue. And I am strained. I'm really strained.
Will this business...
2 years shut down.
I understand it. It's been rough for, I think, everybody in one way, shape, or form.
But this industry, okay, let me ask you all a question. When was the last time you attended a large event or a corporate event? And this is what it's all about. So this industry, together with the corporate event industry, hospitality industry that we close affiliated and contracted. We contracted with the largest hotels in the city, with the largest venues, and it's been 30 years experience. It was shut down. So we're trying to revive the hospitality, the corporate, and the social event business. So the funds are dry. We have not received the last grant from, as a village of Wheeling, deprived area. We have not received that, unfortunately. It was $150,000 on the line. I know people of Wheeling were trying to help us out with that, but it didn't happen. So
how will...
Just to that, I'm sorry. When we purchased that building, it was...
Can you just step closer to the mic so that...
When we purchased this building, we didn't buy it as a venue. We buy it for our building. The idea of a venue come later. When we built our showroom, and you see that showroom, a lot of clients start to request that showroom. Can I have my event over here? Can I have an event over here? And that's why we decide, wow, why not to make extra money? Why not to bring extra people? Like, for example, just to give you a little understanding, medium-sized wedding, 150 people. That means that this wedding will need 8 waiters, 4 busboys, 3 chefs, about 4 or 5 cleaning people, security, courtroom, valet attendant, and on and on. All of these people will be employed for that event, and all of these people will be the residents of Wheeling. Event like that will bring a huge opportunity for tax and for the actual labor forces over here. But again, to answer your question, at the beginning, when we purchased this building, it was no idea for event venue. Event venue come later by request by our clients.
Well, that's one of my questions. I remember you, Mr. Elias, when you came in for the 6B, and thank you, and we did grant that. This is an entirely different use from the 6B that we granted. I don't know if that will have any effect on it.
This is not for regular business hours. Remember, we are requesting a special use for the weekends only.
But the special use doesn't affect the 6B, okay? The 6B is granted based on the use. It's a legal thing. It's not us. It's, through the county. And I'm just bringing that up as something else. I also wanted to ask, how will this business affect you supplying, because hopefully the business will, the entertainment industry or the event industry will come back. I'm sure there's a lot of brides out there who've waited 2 years for their wedding, and but how will this affect your current business? If you're having an event here and you have your staff working, will you be able to supply somebody who's having their event at the Westin or?
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, it's much easier to set up at your own home. You do not need to load the trucks, which it takes a day to load 4 or 5 trucks that's gonna go out on the road, let's say even to the city. Okay, all the equipment has to be packed because all the equipment is very fragile. It has a lot of glass. It has a lot of acrylics. It's a huge size of equipment, furniture. So it will be so much easier just to take stuff out of warehouse and just put it up. So yes, we can handle, as a matter of fact, this is where the extra business is coming from, that we could handle the event here and elsewhere.
Mr. Elias, you mentioned chefs, but you won't be doing cooking.
No.
So you won't need chefs?
No, we will be.
Servers?
We will be having professional caterers, and Westin is our partner at the moment.
So you'll be operating under their liquor license also?
Absolutely.
And will you be joining the North Shore Visitor Convention Bureau?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Just making sure. Trustee Kruger?
Thank you. Just one more. Director Clicker, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but this text amendment passed, if it passes, do you think it's the kind of thing that would bring other petitioners to the industrial zones to buy buildings so that they can have an accessory use and have a banquet hall on the weekends?
Is there potential? Yes. Do I see it being a mad rush to do this? No.
And to you guys, I appreciate the letter that you got from the Westin, and I hear that you're partnering with them. Explain to me how it is that you're not their competition.
Okay, so the industrial space will never be a competition to any conventional hotel. If you wanted to rent a hotel space, you will never come to industrial space. It's a completely different mindset. And so let's say some of the people that we came across were, again, parents of the groom and brides, and they would say, what is this? This looks very unfinished. Are you guys gonna do something here? So to them, it does not look like a conventional hotel. And the kids would say, oh my God, this is so cool. So we will never be in competition. It's completely different view.
And then to Trustee Papantos's point, if you have a wedding on a Saturday that is at a hotel, and someone hires you for your craft, and you also are having a wedding at your I-3 zone building, you'll be able to satisfy and service multiple gatherings on the same weekend?
Okay, so we have a tremendous amount of people working for us, specifically during season. We do 3 to 4, sometimes 5 events. We also travel through the United States. We serve a great area of Cleveland, Columbus, Detroit, Kansas City, and so on. The whole Midwest we are covering. We do travel events.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. Are there any other questions? Comments from staff? That brings us to this point. I need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Vogel, second. Trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
What was that?
You just whined, I'm sorry, I'm still trapped. I'm going to say yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
I'm in the same boat as trustee Kruger.
See, she didn't whine, though.
I didn't know if you were dying or what.
It's a girls'
I
group.
know, I made a guttural noise, I'm sorry.
I have concerns, but I am willing to give you a chance, yes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Mr. Eilish. Congratulations. My vote doesn't matter. I do have reservations about this. I'll play along. Good luck.
Thank you, Pat.
For everyone's information, this will go back to the Plan Commission then on Wednesday for the special use, and we'll be back in front of the village board at the next meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it.
One moment. Your husband was telling me that you were not available for the Planning Commission because you were out helping with an effort overseas.
Would you be so kind to
I was
allow
going
my
to ask you if you
husband?
wanted to do a little commercial.
A commercial. Okay.
If somebody wanted to get in touch with you to maybe help with your cause, what exactly is your cause and how would they get in touch with you?
I will provide my personal email pad to you, so people who are willing to donate, people who are willing to help us in our cause at the present time, we will provide all the resources.
Please explain your
Could
cause.
you explain what the cause is?
Yes. Okay, so we are trying to help right now to evacuate mentally retarded children from foster homes of Kyiv. This is the capital of Ukraine right now under bombing. And we donating money there. We also donated a large amount of medication and medical supplies to the plane that took off 2 days ago from the O'Hare International, flew to Poland. I also support a Jewish organization. They're evacuating Jewish people from the Ukraine. It's still 200,000 people. I also, by training a physician assistant, I've dedicated my life saving refugees. I work for Mount Sinai and for the largest refugee clinic. So it's already 1.7 million refugees are out of Ukraine. These people are going to have a lot of issues, so I'm focusing on post-traumatic disorder for these clients, and we are going to see them by our doors. We have one of the largest community, Ukrainian and Polish communities here in Chicago.
Where are you trying to evacuate?
We are evacuating to Poland.
And can we ask for her email now?
If somebody wanted to watch this video and get your email, what might that be?
It's marina_aliash@yahoo.com.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
It's Marina, M-A-R-I-N-A, _Aliash, E-L-Y-A-S-H, @yahoo.com.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Pat.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. I just want to add something really cute at the end. Also, March is a month of National History of Women. So just wanted to add to that. And tomorrow is International Women's Day. Thank you so much for your gift to my holiday.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Clicker. Item K, Clerk Brady.
13K, resolution approving a contract with BS&A software in the amount not to exceed $425,761 for enterprise resource planning software equipment and implementation services.
Mr. Kaplan, this is a lot more than QuickBooks.
It is a lot more than QuickBooks, I will admit that.
The owner's manual is big, too.
Yep.
What do we got?
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight's agenda item is a request by the Finance, Community Development, and Information Technology Departments to replace the village's existing enterprise resource planning system. For those not familiar with the term, the ERP is the village's organization-wide software system, and it includes applications for accounting, payroll, budgeting, human resources, purchasing, water billing, code enforcement, permitting, business licensing, and other functions as well. So these are applications that are critical for the internal operation of the village, but it should also be noted that when we were looking for an ERP system, we wanted one that would modernize the village's online services as well. So we wanted a system that would allow customers to receive and pay their water bills electronically and also apply for building permits and business licenses online. And we wanted a system that would allow community development to use tablets or other devices in the field when doing inspections and code enforcement. So wanted to give you a little bit of background on how we got here. The village has used the same software company, which is now called Central Square, since 1990. Back then it was called Proclamation, but it's been acquired, sold and acquired by various other companies over the year, and it's now owned by Central Square. So we've had really an amazing run with the same, essentially, software company for the last 32 years. And I can tell you that that's remarkable because most other communities, our neighbors, or many other communities have changed their ERP systems, 2 or 3 times or more during that same time period. So the company and the software has served the village well, but they are no longer adequately supporting or improving the product. And they indicated to us recently that they will not support it at all after 2023. And that's concerning to staff because if we do not upgrade or replace the software and it fails, it would have a catastrophic effect on the village's ability to operate. And I don't say that lightly. For example, the village would not be able to produce paychecks or water bills, pay vendors, or produce financial reports and do just about anything else that we do on a daily basis. So with that concern in mind, the staff of the 3 departments began speaking with neighboring communities to find out what ERP systems they were using. And we wanted to know how the software performed and whether the company was providing adequate customer service. And most of all, we wanted to know whether they were happy with the software. And we found that while there are many software companies that other communities use, there were 2 that stood out. BS&A and Tyler Technologies are currently serving many similarly sized communities in the Chicago area and nationally. So we asked for proposals from those 2 companies and a proposal from Central Square, our existing provider, to upgrade to their latest product. And we scheduled demonstrations with BS&A and Central Square. We did not schedule a demo with Tyler Technologies because their proposal was cost prohibitive. It came in at about $2.5 million over 5 years. So we made the decision that it wasn't even worth demoing their software. And then we viewed a 4th company, Civic Systems, which primarily serves smaller communities throughout the Midwest area. And we invited staff from the 3 departments who use the software daily to view the software as well and ask questions, because this was not just a management decision, it was also a decision that needed to be made by the staff that use the software on a daily basis. And after viewing the software, the clear favorite was BS&A due to its functionality and its reputation for excellent customer service. The other factor that played in their favor was that several other communities are using BS&A software, including Buffalo Grove, Northbrook, Lake Forest, Lincolnshire, Libertyville, Skokie, Morton Grove, Lake Zurich, Oak Park, and Grays Lake, and there are several others. They have over 2,000 clients nationwide and a retention rate of over 99%. And when we talked to their references, they had nothing but positive things to say about the software and the customer service that they provide, which is very unusual because typically when I talk to other finance directors about their software, when I have talked to them historically, they're never exactly happy about it. There's good things and bad things, but this was, the references we got were very happy with BS&A. So as I said, Tyler Technologies was not an option because we got mixed reviews and the cost was prohibitive. Central Square was also not an option because while also expensive, they do not provide a water billing application at the current time. So as you can imagine, since that's a core function of what the finance department does, that was not going to work for us. So for those reasons, staff is recommending tonight that the board approve a contract with BS&A at a cost not to exceed, a first-year cost not to exceed $425,761. That breaks down to $280,380 in one-time costs. Those are startup costs that include the cost of the software, training, data conversion, and equipment. And then $106,675 in annual subscription costs, which is similar to what we're paying Central Square now for their product. We also added $38,706 as a 10% contingency for unforeseen costs, although we do not expect to spend that. The timeline for implementation, if the board approves this contract, is between 12 and 15 months. This is a major project that will impact every department in the village because the software is used in some way by all departments. Once implemented, though, the software should serve the village's needs for several years to come. So we're excited about the opportunity, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Trustee Papantos?
Thank you. Welcome to the 21st century, I guess. It's about time. I remember asking you quite a few years ago about going paperless on water bills. Because I look at the postage every month on water bill alone, and it's like, this is ridiculous. Most people pay it online and throw the bill out anyway, and it's, I'd rather get an email saying it's ready to come out of your bank account, and I don't have to do anything else. Is this software customizable?
I believe it can be customized, but it's a cloud-based solution, so essentially all of their customers are using the same version of the software, and when they upgrade it, everybody gets the upgrade at the same time.
And so for report writing, will you be able to pull out data that you need for your own specific reports?
We will, yes. They have a robust report writer, so that should not be a problem.
So Director Crotty can be writing a lot of HR reports. I know you, and this is the first time we've had a system that incorporates all of the departments like this, though, isn't it?
Well, the system that we have now, does incorporate community development, finance, HR, and others. So it is an enterprise resource planning system. It's just not as robust because it hasn't been really upgraded in a meaningful way in many years.
What's the history on this company as far as revisions and upgrades to the software, as far as how often we're going to have to be looking at major upgrades?
I don't believe it's not going to operate the way that our software has operated in the past, where they upgrade it and we have to pay for the upgrade, and then get around to doing it at some point. They do upgrades on a regular basis, and it's pushed out to all their customers. It's part of their annual subscription fee, so we wouldn't have to pay extra for it. So I think they're upgrading it regularly. They have conferences for users to get together annually and talk about the software and work through potential solutions to problems and so forth.
And that's, I just wanted to touch on that, what Director Kaplan just said. The customization, if you will, that's something, at least from community development, where I've worked with other systems that have been customized, and these are programs that are written for a national audience, if you will. And their practices and procedures are best practices across the nation. So at least from a community development standpoint, I can tell you that we were going to, if our policies and practices don't match what they say, we're going to do what we have to come more in line with theirs. And that's where the user conferences and that come in, where we can make suggestions if there's things that we see a need for. And if that's where then if other communities across the nation are saying, yes, we also see a need for that, they will make the updates for us, and it'll just become part of the system and will be seamless. And we won't have a system then that is standalone and unable to be updated by the company, as happens quite often with these systems.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Trustee Rufato?
Thank you. Two questions. One, will you have to hire contractors or additional staff to do the conversion? Or are you going to try to work internally with that?
No, we do not. We're going to lean on our IT department, but the company has a great reputation for doing a lot of that work. We're going to be paying them to do it. They're going to convert up to 10 years of our data. They're going to also be on site to do training and so forth. So we don't need to hire anybody.
So, and then, so you will have initial training for your staff. What about when you hire a new person coming in? Will they provide training? Will it be all internal? Well, it's all cloud-based, so I assume it's probably modules. Cloud.
Right. I don't think we'll need to hire them to do training at that point. I think the existing employees will be able to do like a train the trainer type thing, where they'll do the training of the new employees.
Okay.
And if I could add, just from the community development standpoint, but I believe it's very similar for the finance. The system is very intuitive as compared to our current system. It guides you to the next steps. So new employees coming in, again, yes, we'll be able to do a train the trainer once we get familiar and are using the system. It's very intuitive, and we should be able to train any new employees internally.
Okay, great, thank you. And lastly, in this day and age of cyber attacks, has the security been properly vetted for that? Because that, you hear about it right now because there's potential attacks to the United States in all areas, and our little financial reporting area could be hit with something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's something that I'd rather defer that question to our IT director because he's more knowledgeable. I assume Luca is here tonight.
He's in the back.
Well, as long as it's been evaluated.
It's been evaluated, and I know that Luca did state that he was comfortable with the securities.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Here he comes.
And he's out.
Good evening, everyone.
It's good to see you pay attention.
Oh, yeah. Cybersecurity, very important topic, and something that gives me lots of stress every night.
Sure.
So, Trustee Rufato, to answer your question, we're looking at building a partnership with this vendor, and we are putting some trust into what they told us in the RFP, but they do follow the guidelines that we would follow as well. So I feel confident after looking at what they put in the RFP back to us that they will use a private cloud solution, if you will, where it's accessible only to village staff. So we will work hand in hand with them to make sure it's secure, backed up, and we can easily recover and continue operations.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for the appearance. No.
I'll go back behind the curtain.
Thank you, Mr. Luca.
President Horger.
Trustee Kruger.
Thank you. Director Kaplan, have you happened to seen what the interface to the public would be when, I'm assuming the way we currently pay online would change?
Yes.
Once the system is up. Have you seen what the interface to the general user is? And I'm assuming it's got to be better.
It's going to be much better. Yeah, I think our residents and businesses are going to be very pleased.
The other thing that we're really excited about is the public-facing portal will have the ability for people to apply for permits online, submit documentation online, and just in general streamline hopefully help us streamline our processes that much better.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. If there are no other questions or comments, we do need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Kruger, second goes to Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go.
13L, ordinance amending Title 14 Fire of the Municipal Code of the Village of Wheeling, Illinois.
Chief McGreal.
Last but not least, what we have on the agenda tonight is recommendations for updates for Title 14, which is the fire code. And we only have 4 recommendations. The reason there's only 4 is that a couple of years ago, we went through a major update with the fire codes. So we went through a thorough. And would you like me to explain the 4? Okay.
Questions, anybody?
Well, for the public,
Okay.
yeah. What we did is,
Please.
okay, what we did is delete section 5.11, which is our fire equipment box system. And what that is there's a requirement, it's basically a very large toolbox full of fire equipment. And we put it in buildings that are over 35 feet in height, or if you have a travel distance over 250 feet. And in theory, it was a good idea, but over the years, tactics have changed, equipment has changed, and it's not practical going forward. So we recommend deleting that. The second major change is we are deleting the assessed value component of the construction and design provision. But we're going to leave in the current language in regards to damage that exceeds 50% of the total square footage of the structure. And that's basically what would trigger on what you would have to update to the current code, depending on if you was more than 50% damage. And that's going to dovetail into the changes that Director Clicker is going to have for the building code. The last 2 are small, they're very minor in nature, but what we did is we require a remote shutoff for electric, and it has to be in a lockbox. And we were removing the term equivalent because we want to use a Knox brand lockbox, and it has the actual shunt trip in it. The reason for Knox boxes, that's the boxes that you see on occupancies that have fire alarms or sprinklers, and that enables the fire and first responders to get in. We're the only ones with the key. We wanted a key to like, and that way we just carry one key, and not only can we shut the electric off remotely, we can also gain access to the building. The last one was we just removed the, forgot what it was. Hold on.
Assembly occupancy.
Oh, yeah. So assembly occupancies currently now have to have a life safety plan, but they're not required to give it to us. So we have to search it and go. So this recommendation is that we would go, they'd be required to give it to us annually. And it would go to the Fire Prevention Bureau. And that's the 4.
Trustee Kruger, then Rufato.
Thanks. I have just a quick question on the FEBS boxes. Are there sites clearly that have them? What do they do with them now if we're not going to require them?
I think the plan is to leave them in place now. There's no harm to leave them in place, but it is a requirement going forward. The only perishable or something with an expiration date would be the fire hose. So we wouldn't be replacing the fire hose in there because after a while it gets
So is it
dry rot.
our equipment in that toolbox?
No, what it is the occupancy buys it. So we have a list that's extensive, you look, it's like 3 pages in the code, and they purchase the equipment, and they store it. They have to actually have a dedicated room built too.
So new developers won't need to have to do that.
Correct.
That's all I had, thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. Trustee Rufato?
Thank you. Chief, the second change that you talked about, the assessed value. So this, I'm trying to understand this, damage that exceeds 50%. So this is not only commercial, it's residential also?
Correct.
So if a house gets destroyed by fire, then you've got to bring it up to code. And that code also includes sprinkler systems in residential?
Correct. If it's over 50% of gross. And the assessed value is really restrictive because they hit that number pretty quick.
Yeah, they do. I'm just, and I know, you know, and this isn't around damage, but I'm thinking a little bit more outside the box of when adding additions to homes, and I assume that's going to be coming up in the future. Okay.
Yeah, the corresponding building codes will match this. This just came first.
Yeah, the building code aspect of it also had the assessed value in there. We're dropping out the assessed value, and it'll just be if you more than double the size of your house by going up, you need to add sprinklers, or if you more than increase the footprint of your house by 50% by going out. So essentially, you can add a second floor to your house without having to sprinkler it. You can also do a large, half the size of your house addition off the back without having to sprinkler the house. But if you go over those thresholds, then that would trigger the sprinkler requirements.
So I guess we can have a discussion in the future on this. This is just related to damage. I'm having a hard time separating that, you know, damage versus increasing the size of a house, you know, a fire. Because I'm not sure how restrictive, you know, for instance, the sprinkler systems, and if we're restricting expansion because of that. And maybe I'm putting it wrong. I'm not succinctly saying it. Is it restricting additions to our residential areas because of the requirement of a sprinkler system? And I don't know if we can do some analysis on that, but this right now is just related to damage that exceeds it. So if there's a fire, then it's got to come up to sprinklers. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Chief, can I add something, or maybe this is a question for you. This is lessening the restrictions. This is more help, to your point. Yes. What's being proposed tonight is more helpful to your point. Okay. It is not creating additional restrictions, it's eliminating them.
The assessed value is so restrictive, especially now with as we've seen with the lumber costs and construction costs just in general, tripling in some respects, that almost anything that a house was doing can easily trigger that 50%
because
assessed value.
I don't want things to be more restrictive.
Right. I mean, this is less restrictive.
We want our residents to stay here, and if that means building additions to their homes, I want something that's a little bit less restrictive when trying to build additions and other items like that. That's what I'm looking for. Okay.
And as it relates to fire damage, that's what this does.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rufato. Any other questions? If there are no other questions, we have a few amendments to the code. Need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Trustee Papantos, second. Trustee Kruger, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Official communications? Left, right, center? Good evening, Ms. Steiner. Always a pleasure to see you. If there is no other comments to be made, we have the bills for February 3rd through March 2nd of 2022. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Vogel, second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. We do have an executive session this evening. Are we doing it here or in the back? Okay, that means you guys have to leave. We have an executive session this evening for the purposes of review of minutes of meetings lawfully closed under the Open Meetings Act and pending probable and/or imminent litigation. That being the case, I need a motion to recess into executive session and adjourn the regular meeting.
So moved.
Roll call, motion Trustee Vogel, second Trustee Krueger. Now, Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
That was Papantos, just so you know.
I thought she, all right.
I moved my lips, but the voice came out of her.
Okay, Trustee Rufato.
Yes.
Trustee Krueger.
Yes.
Trustee Lang.
Yes.
Trustee Vito.
Yes.
Trustee Papantos.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes. Recess, so we will reconvene into regular session at about 8:05.
The executive session.
That too?
Do we get to go back in?
Not the regular
executive
session. Right, we won't be coming back.